completely relaxed. Let go of the body. Let go.
Like relaxed.
You have to talk. Sorry, I tricked you a little bit.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode. Today we're going to talk about the racing and injuries and what actually can happen with our body once we get injured. And with me I have my good friend Joey, who I met in Marbella out riding.
Yeah.
And you quite early told me about your experience in the sport and that you have treated a lot of people who's been top level riders. Mm-hmm. So that's why we have you here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your experience in the sport and who you helped and why.
Yeah, well, it's a long story, man, but I can tell it probably briefly. I've been riding since I was probably 14 years old, and I had my injuries to go through, learning to ride, because we didn't have many people to teach us to ride in Iceland. So we have to experience how it is to take that 20-meter jump, and am I going to make it? And we have to experience that. So I had a lot of crashes and couldn't also help myself because I wanted to be fast, and I was always pushing myself over the limit that I could ride.
Yeah.
And not to have anybody to say, hey, do like this and use your posture like that. So I had to invent my own riding style. And then I think in 2000 we have our first coach coming to teach us, and then I've been racing for a few years. And that's where I learned a little bit techniques, and so it started to be more fun for me to learn techniques and prevent injuries.
Yeah.
It didn't help it. I still crashed, and I had really, really bad injuries, which I used actually in my therapy. And I realized that my injuries taught me more than my school. And it was not until many years later I started to see how much my injuries were affecting my feelings. I had like old blocked injuries, and we motocross guys, we are constantly talking about our accomplishments, and sadly we talk a lot about our injuries. It's like, yeah, I broke this and I broke this, and it's like we're talking about some heroes and we survived some war.
Yeah, exactly.
And when I was talking about it, I always felt the pain in my injury. So. And I said, fuck, it's still there, even though it's 10 years ago. Mm. So it's still in my system. It's still a trauma in my system. So I started to use that while I was giving therapy to all these guys. And I loved working on motocross guys because I could relate to them. Yeah, exactly. And I loved that. And I had that opportunity to work with Honda HRC in the Dakar Rally 2013 and 14, where I met all these top riders, yeah. And it was amazing to work with them because I related to them, yeah. and I started to enjoy a lot my work and also getting acknowledgement for what I do differently. Yeah. Because my work I do differently because, like I said, I put all my injuries into my therapy, and I said, yeah, you're taught this, but this is bullshit because it's really old techniques that someone invented, and he's been teaching it for 20, 30 years. Yeah. And the quality of it just is gone. Yeah, so I started seeing like, yeah, okay, this is how I do the shoulder, because I dislocated my shoulder, and how did I train it, and how did I get out of that trauma? Yeah. Or my broken arms or whatever, which I have a little bit pain in now just talking about it. Yeah. So it shows that I still have that trauma in my system.
But working with this, I know you helped Sam Sunderland, did some...
Yeah, I tried my best.
Yeah, but during Dakar, did you like fix injuries, or did you like prepare them for each day to be able to like ride faster and harder, or what?
Yeah, I actually, when I was there, I prevented, a lot of injuries. And also we went into the mental part of it. It's also mental part. It's not only your body, it's also here. Mm. And when I saw them losing a little bit the strength, because they are also persons, they are human beings like us, and we lose our cool and we get fear and all that. No matter how hard you work on your body and train, you will always get emotions. You cannot hide that. You can hide it, but I see it. So I saw them when they were a little bit having problems and losing hope and stuff. So I jumped in there and said, hey, let's go to the camper and have a good chat. So it ended up maybe in a 2-hour, 3-hour therapy, just chatting and just doing a little bit work on them. And I enjoyed that because, you know, I related to these guys, and I always wanted to be champion. I tried so hard to be champion.
Yeah, when
but
you were
I ruined
riding
it.
on your own.
Yeah. It was my goal also, and then I realized that I didn't have what it takes to be champion because I just enjoyed riding. I just loved the riding part. I just loved to put on my helmet and just go riding.
What do you see is like the most common injury and why?
Most common injury?
Yeah, most common injury with us riders, and how should we prevent that from happening?
Common injuries, we all know it. It's like wrists and knees and arm pumps and shoulders. I think I injured everything. So I think it's more.
Yeah. But if I look to me, I've hurt like both of my shoulders hit hard, and I twisted the knee a few times.
Yeah.
Is there anything we can do from like preventing that from happen that you see with your experience?
Yeah, I like to think that I probably would have had worse injuries if I would not have practiced like free body movements, because you know, if you're a rider and you're riding with all your body, you're using all your body, and you want to be flexible with the body. What are you doing then? Doing bicep curls.
Yeah.
We don't use our bicep that much in our sport.
No.
And top riders, they know that. They are not doing that. They are doing all kinds of, you know, catching a ball and throwing it. It's just these movements that we need to train.
Okay.
And do all the free motion, ligament opening and stretching your joints and you know, I crashed in a freestyle ramp, went over my bar, went over the whatever you call it, and landed face first.
Yeah.
And you know, I was like, okay, see you later. This is gone. But I broke my collarbone, and I remember my neck just stretching so far, and I thought about it, and like, fuck, if I would not have done Ashtanga yoga for a year and a half, I would probably broke my neck there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
because as soon as you fight it, it will hurt you.
Yeah, okay.
So learning that, and I did like judo and jiu-jitsu, and so my flexibility saved my ass many times.
So flexibility maybe.
Yeah,
movement.
flexibility. Yeah, movement.
It's maybe hard to people watching this to start judo or something, but flexibility, movement. Yoga maybe.
Yeah, of course. Yoga is perfect, and jiu-jitsu is perfect also because you learn to fall.
Yeah.
We have to learn to fall.
Yeah.
You know, we are falling on the bike. We cannot fight it. We have to like accept it. You're gonna fly and accept it.
What kind of injuries can you help riders with? What kind of riders comes to you today, and what can you do for them?
I can help them with all their injuries.
Yeah.
Even spinal injuries. I had a girl that broke her back, actually here in Sweden, and got paralyzed. And we spent like half a year, probably 1 hour a day. I gave her therapy because I did it for free because I wanted to see the results in it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was amazing results. She could not sit straight because she had to have a chest holder to hold her balance. We got rid of that. We got rid of that, and we activated actually nerves because I put needles into the nerves, and then I was using like an old Tesla apparat to put a little bit electricity into the nerve.
Okay.
And we were doing that, and she could move her leg when I was pushing the nerve. After we took the needles out and I pushed the nerve, and she could move the leg up and down.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, actually, a videos of that. So that is
science,
you know
science. Yeah.
Yeah. And call me crazy. I don't mind, but we saw the leg move. So whatever with science.
You see what you have done. We had one guy. You have done therapy here in Sweden, in Stockholm, where we are now.
Yeah.
We have one guy who came with his shoulder. He hit the shoulder. What did you do? Like that, I see that as a typical injury. You hit the shoulder. You have long-term problems, and then he comes to you.
Yeah.
What did you do, and what did you see?
That is the thing. You know, when I'm working, I can go in there. Searching for a trauma, and that's what I'm going to come into. You know, I don't go in there from a memory of reading it somewhere in a book. I come off a memory of hurting my own shoulder.
Okay.
So when he's talking about his pain in the shoulder, I can go back in past. How would I wanted to have worked on my shoulder if it was me. So I don't suggest every therapist to have multiple injuries to learn it. It's just how I am doing it. Yeah. So
that's your history.
Yeah, it's my history and where I am taking it.
Yeah.
And for him it was trauma in the shoulder. So he was always upliving the old injury. So the injury healed, but not the trauma.
Okay. What does that mean?
It means that every time there's something that relates to having that shoulder injury, talk about it every day, you do some movement and it hurts you a little bit, and then you start to uplive it. And you go riding and it hurts you, you get disappointed. Because of their injuries and the expectation of being, going far, and you have your sponsors and you let go everybody. And that injury is gonna get stuck to you because you're also putting negative energy into it. And riders are going too early to ride. So the healing is different. I like sometimes to go riding with my injury just to fucking let it go. But sometimes it's just too bad of an injury. So when they're having screws in their arm and they back in the track 2 weeks later, man, I'm like, shit, man, how the fuck do you do that? So for me, that's going to be a trauma in your system in the long run. And that's what I'm seeing now. All these guys having this trauma in their body, and they're just continuously getting more and more injuries because the trauma just stiffens them up. So when something comes up, they're just like, fuck, it's going again. And that's where they cannot react in that moment to it. So speaking of that guy, I had to work on his shoulder and said, relax, relax, relax again. And then it made a click.
Yeah.
So like 3 times more tension than he needed to be in the shoulder. He thought he was relaxed in the shoulder.
Yeah.
So that's how we get it out. But also he had his atlas joint was sitting incorrectly. And actually when I looked at him, I could see where the impact came from here, because his collarbone was sitting incorrectly and it was actually putting a little bit of a rotation on his sternum. And then I could see how his neck was a little bit tilted. So I started with taking the neck back to release the neural system, and then I have to relax it and pat it and tell it it's okay, I'm going to help it. And so we go in it like that.
So you put it like in right place and in the blood?
I think so. He felt it. He felt it.
Yeah, for sure. He was. I saw him in the face. He felt like 10 kilos lighter.
Yeah. And
so
it's good to. I also, sometimes I do it. I take a photo of the face before and after. If I know I'm going to go into a really big trauma and something, I take a picture of it, and afterwards, this is like, fuck, this is like 15 years. Yeah, you released actually tension, 15-year-old tension from your body.
But let's say we hurt yourself. Let's say I break my arm. I understand there is you need more information and so on. But like today we go to the doctor and we get a treatment for this. What do you recommend? Like after, should you always meet a therapist and see, or should you just, if it's not hurting, don't do anything, or what do you recommend?
Look for a therapist that is, can a little bit relate to what you have been through. I find actually cold bath works. Every time I went into cold bath, it brought out a little bit fear in me, and I said, what is that fear? What is that fear? And it was my body reacting to that tension. So I had so much pain in my body when I was doing it. So I said, okay, let's do this. So I went into cold bath with breathing. And probably most people go in there and relax and just try to sit there and like no breathing. And you're actually blocking oxygen from that. You just, because your body is like constantly trying to tell you like, get the fuck out.
Yeah, exactly.
So you need oxygen for that. And the breathing from Wim Hof is an amazing technique that he developed, but for me it didn't work. I was like, fuck, I want to get this old fear out. I have old fear since forever. Not only from motocross riding, from all kinds of shit. It's not only motocross trauma we have. We can bring trauma from your girlfriend or your boyfriend to the track. And you're not full throttle there. You're not full in your head. You're thinking about, fuck, this girl, and you're trying to do a triple and you're not going to make it. Maybe because of your your mind was not at the track.
Yeah.
Or your mind was too much at the track and you were not there.
So much experience, and you're here for a reason, because you've been giving me treatments and some of my friends, and we've been riding and so on.
I love to do it. I love to help people, man. I love to help people, and I like to pull the worst and the best out of people.
Yeah.
You know, and when I say pull the worst, I'm not pulling the worst out of you. You want to kill someone. It's to pull out your worst trauma.
Yeah.
And I want to pull out also your best, the best you can do.
Yeah.
So if I can help you to be the best you can do, I will do it. But it's also hard work.
Yeah.
It's not that you're just going to come on the table and I do all the work. I'm just going to show you the techniques to do it, and maybe we need to open your mind a little bit.
Yeah. I can imagine for many looking at this video, it's new for them, like trauma, body, like what's going on.
I don't know.
Saying is maybe it's a bit hard to understand, like things gets kept in our body, traumas, what's happening on, but that's maybe why we go with injuries for so long time, or we don't understand why we are tired or things happening and because of this.
Yeah, I'm picking up trauma from people, you know, since they were maybe 12 years old.
Yeah.
I'm seeing patterns in people, you know, behavior patterns, and I have to call it out. And let's talk about it. Let's go. And we go until you're 12 years old.
Yeah.
And something happened between your mother. I mean, I had a client in Spain that had, they said he had Parkinson's. But after therapy, he was good until in the morning when he had breakfast, he started having shaking. And I was like, interesting. Let's talk about that. Tell me your worst moment when you were having breakfast. My mother punched me. Interesting. And all the shaking starts.
Yeah.
So right away I found out that was mental nervous system.
Like so much of the mental part.
Yes, yeah, and it was just stuck. And the poor guy carrying all his past, everywhere he go, what's happening? So that shows it. And every client has been teaching me these small details, and it sits in all our fascia. You know, the fascia is a memory. I don't even think the brain has as much memory as we think. It has memory of something you can pull up, yes, but your body remembers 10 times more than we think. And we can pull up a memory, and it gives you pain and gives you goosebumps.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, an emotion that gives you pain in the stomach, or emotion that gives you in the heart.
Yeah.
But yet we pretend it's not there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know you can talk a lot about this, Joey.
I can.
But it's important stuff. I mean, it's things that the bike, if the clutch is broken, we can fix it. But if something is wrong in our body, maybe it's not that easy to see. You have to dig in, and you have to understand certain parts.
I mean, look at that point. You're a pro rider, and you have a guy that takes so good care of your bike.
Yeah.
And then you have a trainer to push you, but who is taking care of you? Who is making sure that your body is aligned?
Yeah.
So if you have, for example, if you're standing in one foot constantly, that's your habit. Standing in one foot, and you rotate your pelvis.
Yeah.
Right. So your weight is shifted a little bit. What about if you're standing on your bike and you're riding, and you have a incorrect posture?
Yeah.
That's going to affect your bike.
Yeah.
And then we can go into, where do you squeeze your bike while you're riding? Do you squeeze it with your crouch, like some guys do? They squeeze it in the seat.
Yeah.
Some guys squeeze their knees really hard, but they don't think about where their feet are. They don't even think if they're goofy or something like that. So, and for me, riding for fucking 30 years and meeting Ryan, and he's like, let me see your shoes. And he looks at my shoes, and he's like, why are you standing in the middle of your feet? You have no suspension.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So, shifting from there, it made my riding style 30% easier.
Yeah.
And I stopped having problems with my knees. So of course I make also mistakes. We all make mistakes. And I cannot see myself on the bike. I can feel myself, but I'm just too tired to hang on the bike. I can't feel it.
Yeah, good talk, Joey. I know you have a lot of experience in this, and If you have any questions, you can shoot it in comments, and I will ask Joey to answer them as good as we
I'll
can.
do my best.
Yeah. And for you guys who wants to see more, we're gonna speak with Joey about the body, because you're really good with the body, like what's happening and like standing on the bike, sitting on the bike, your body position,
Yeah.
more like anatomic perspective. But to see that, you have to sign up in the school, enduroschool.com, and you will get access to that content. Thank you for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more. More is coming.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joey.
For sure. Thank you.
Relax. So just come, relax, completely relax. Let go of the body. Let go.
Like relaxed.
You have to talk. Sorry, I tricked you a little bit. He's still alive.
Can you walk?
It's alive.